Hey guys, today we have one of my all-time favorite people on the planet here on the show, John Corabi. He's super talented musician, great guy, and super entertaining guest. He's got a new book out now called Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. It's really entertaining stuff. Even if you're just a casual rock fan, I think this is a great read. It's on par with the Motley Crue book, The Dirt. And we're just going to scratch the surface on a few things in this interview, including his opinion of seeing Motley live with Vince, being at the Viper Room the day River Phoenix died, making out with Sandra Bullock, and more. Stay right there. Okay, so first question. Thing that I read your book. The book is amazing. Everyone needs to go out and fucking buy it. Even if they're not a hardcore fan of you like I am, like it's just there's so many good rock and roll stories. But the first question, payment for the book, The Dirt, the other book that you're in, you only asked for signed copies. But what do you think that you could have got for that one? Could you have gotten like 1% of everything that thing made, or did they make an offer at all?
No, they offered to pay me, but I just kind of, I was like, no, just, give me 12 copies of the book and have the other three guys sign it, or four, have them sign it. And I literally just wanted like 10 or 12 copies of the book. So I could give one to my son, one to my dad, one to a few friends, my wife, whatever. And, unfortunately it didn't happen. So, once again, I negotiated something with Motley's management and they didn't follow through with it. So, it is what it is.
Okay. So I was just curious about that. Cause I was like, dude, if you got like 1% of everything, the book and the movie and all that stuff, that would have been a lot of money. Right? Hello?
You froze. Yeah. Well, that's accountant. My accountant always tells me to keep my mouth shut when it comes to negotiating, because I'm the guy that goes, how much you want for those boots? 150. Okay. My bottom offer is 200. So she goes, yeah, your negotiating skills are fucking horrible. So just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Right. So one thing I noticed throughout, and I've listened to a lot of interviews with you too. You've been on my show. Throughout the book, everything I've known about you, I always think you're a good guy. Like you're always a good guy. You're kind, you're nice. You're always trying to do the right thing, trying to help people. The only part in the book that shocked me, that I thought that it seemed out of character for you, is when you go to see the Crew with Vince for the first time and you're backstage with Tommy and he asks, hey, what'd you think of the show? And you said, I think you phoned it in and Aerosmith blew you off the stage. Do you think on a subconscious level, maybe you did that? I don't think you did it on purpose, but do you think maybe subconsciously that was your kind of like revenge for like them kicking you out of the band and kind of kicking you to the curb? And this is your way of saying, fuck you, you sucked.
No, because Tommy said to me, what did you, because you have to remember, I had never seen Motley before I joined the band. Obviously, yeah. I see them when I was in the band because I was part of the band.
Right.
And so he sent me, I think Tommy texted me and sent me tickets to they were playing at the Hollywood Bowl. And, he was throwing sticks at me while he was on stage. He was kidding with me the whole time. I went backstage and I saw Nikki and Mick, and I, saw everybody. And I went in to Tommy's dressing room and Tommy gave me a hug and he said, what did you think? And I was like, and he said, dude, honestly, what did you think? And I was like, I was a little nervous about saying it, but I said, listen, dude, you had flamethrowers and midgets and like all this other stuff, and you guys just seemed like you phoned it in. I was looking around the audience as well, and I was seeing people like literally get up to go buy a beer. Like it was just a weird night. I said to him, I think you guys phoned it in, and a bunch of 70-year-olds just walked on stage and handed you guys your ass on a platter. And I stand by that today. Aerosmith came out on stage with just a row of amps. They had nothing, no pyro. It was just lights and the guys kicking ass. And they were fucking amazing. And so he asked, and I told him.
But don't you, I don't disagree with you. You have your right to have your opinion, absolutely. But don't you think he didn't really want to hear that? I mean, it's kind of like when your wife or your girlfriend says, "Do I look fat in these pants?" You don't actually tell them they look fat in the pants. Like you say, "No, you look beautiful, honey."
No, but see, that's the difference. I'm not. I really don't give a shit if you ask me a question. You know, it's funny. Like even still to this day, like I have bands that'll send me a track or send me a song, and they go, "Hey man, what did you think?" And I just had a buddy of mine do it like a week ago. He sent me a track, and he said, "Hey, I would really like your opinion on this." And he sent me the track, and I was listening to it, and I thought it was a good song. But he said, you know, any feedback? And I go, "Are you going to feel weird about this?" And he said, "No." I said, "I think the intro is too long. I think you need to cut the intro back a little bit, and you need to get to the fucking vocals way sooner." And he was like, "Huh." He didn't take anything. And even my wife, if my wife said to me, "Hey, do these pants make me look fat?" I wouldn't say yes, but I would figure out another way to say, maybe you should wear that other dress or those other pants because you look fucking awesome in them the last time I saw, whatever.
Yeah.
So, again, like if you ask me a question and tell me to be honest, like normally if Tommy asked me, "Hey, how did we sound?" I would have just went, "Yeah, it was cool, dude." You know what I mean? I wouldn't, but he said, "Be blunt, be honest." And I fucking told him.
Okay. Well, he did kind of ask for it there. Yeah. So now you also said, I think I heard this was not in the book, but I heard you say in an interview that you were upset with Nikki and Tommy because when you texted them about the issue with your son, where your son was having some drug issues, you texted them because they're Motley Crue. They know about drugs. They went through that stuff and they did not respond. Do you think that upset you? Do you think though that maybe, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in Motley Crue. Like how many texts, phone calls, emails and things do they get? I mean, do you think they just didn't even see it or they just got bombarded and forgot about it?
Don't know. It doesn't matter to me. The bottom line of it is, now look, at the end of the day, Tommy and I are fine. Tommy still texts me.
Mm-hmm.
We contact each other on Instagram, but I didn't do anything until Tommy reached out to me first, and and said, "Hey, Crab, how you been? Blah blah blah, whatever." Or I posted something and he made a comment about it, and then I reached out. I wasn't mad at them. I was a little disappointed in the fact that if you want to be upset with me, awesome. Say la vie. But you watched my kid grow up. I reached out to them. I did not ask them for money. I did not ask them for anything. What I asked them for was, "Hey, you guys have dealt with heroin addiction. How do I handle this?" I got nothing from Nikki at all. No response, nothing. And Tommy just wrote back. He just wrote back one word. He just said, it wasn't like, "Oh shit, dude, sorry. Like, fuck, are you kidding me? Ian's taking drugs, blah, blah, nothing." He just wrote rehab. No, like rehab, good luck, Tommy. No, like nothing. He just wrote rehab, send. And I was just like, man, how especially I was a little bummed out with Tommy because Tommy's the one that got Ian his first drum set. Tommy's the one that Ian looked up to. And I just said, you know what? I have reached out to those guys on multiple occasions. I reached out to Nikki when he divorced Donna D'Erico. I reached out to Tommy when the kid died in his pool. I reached out to Tommy when he went to prison. I reached out to Tommy, and all those guys multiple times, and I never got a response. But I thought maybe if they realized that there was something wrong with my son, they would just go, hey, dude, here, call this counselor. Or, hey, this guy's a really good counselor. Here's his number. He can help you figure it out. They didn't respond. Okay, c'est la vie. I just said, fuck it, whatever. I'm done with those guys. I won't ever bother them again. I won't ever call them again. I won't forget it. But now it was funny. I talked to another gentleman named Gary Corbett, who was the keyboard player for Cinderella and I knew Gary, but I didn't really know him. I called Gary because Gary had also had some issues in the past with drugs. And I reached out to Gary and I told him what happened. I said, hey, my son's shooting heroin. He was coming out to Nashville. He wants to get his life together. And Gary Corbett was at my house an hour later with a package full of these things it was called Suboxone. It's an opiate blocker. He told me how to distribute it to Ian. He told me if I need anything, please give him a call. He was so supportive. And he had never even met Ian. And I had only met him a few times, like on tours. But at least he reached out to me. He was literally at my house in an hour and willing to help out. And that I will never forget. Now, we all know Gary has since passed on.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I will never forget the fact that I asked what I thought were my friends to help me out. Not even with money. Hey, do you have a phone number for a counselor or something that I could reach out to? And I didn't get anything. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It is what it is, dude. I'm not angry about it, but I have a very good long memory. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I kind of figured out I can write to Tommy. I won't ever bring it up. Hey, how's it going? How's your wife? And if you remember, I even kind of went to bat for him on the Tommy and
Tommy show.
I love Tommy. But we, listen, we're all like brothers. We love each other. We hate each other. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. So that's with those guys. And then you and Mick are cool and all that. But the thing with Vince Neil, that is so puzzling. I mean, it starts off good that, you guys you're basically cool. You're friends. You even talk about doing a tour together, which I'd fucking go see. I think it'd be amazing. But then years later, you see him and I think it's one of four things that happens. Either he doesn't recognize you, he was pretending he didn't know you, or he was so high or fucked up that he didn't know what the hell was going on. Or the last thing, which I hope this is not what's going on. I hope it's not a case of like the David Cassidy thing where he just drank so much that he got like dementia or whatever. What do you think it was?
I'm going to go with 1 and 3. You know what I mean? I think it didn't click right away, but he was also a little inebriated.
Okay.
We were at Sammy Hagar was doing this beach bash out in Huntington Beach. And, there was definitely some partying going on with all of us. I mean, I remember Sammy's people. I had my coach there right next to Sammy's liquor company. They had a coach. So I literally, my wife and I drove across country for the thing. We were hanging out. My manager was involved in the concert. So we went out, we were hanging. It was just to go have a fun weekend. And I know at one point Sammy's people came over and loaded my coach up with this Santos mezcal tequila that he was promoting. So I'm sure there was some drinking involved as well. And Vince, it just didn't click. I don't hold it against Vince. Last year when we did the Monsters on the Mountain thing, obviously when Vince fell off the stage, I went the next day. Slaughter was playing, and I went the next day to talk to Mark and Dana, just to ask how Vince was doing. And as soon as they opened the door, they're like, "Oh, hey, Corabi, man. Hey, Vince was looking for you. You were on the schedule. He was looking for you and asked where you were so he could say hi to you." So I think it was just a thing at that one end where Vince just had maybe a little too much to drink, and he didn't put two and two together that it was me. Now, mind you, as well, you can see my beard. Maybe he didn't recognize me. Again,
but that voice, the raspy John Corabi voice, how could you not recognize that?
Well, I didn't sing. I was just backstage.
But your speaking voice is very distinguishable, I think.
Well, to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, you don't have cable TV, so you focus on like weird shit. But whatever.
No, I have cable TV. I have everything.
I'm kidding.
Hey, so okay, here's the other one I want to ask you. This has nothing to do with Motley Crue, but this is crazy. Okay, obviously Debbie, your wife, she is the best kisser in the world, but is the second best kisser Sandra Bullock, or what is it like to kiss Sandra Bullock? That's pretty fucking awesome.
No comment.
Oh, come on, nothing.
No, you know what? You know what's funny? Sandra Bullock was. I was so pissed more than anything because I met her when she was doing the Demolition Man.
Yeah. And
it's a long story. I won't go into too much detail, but Tommy and I found out that we were hanging with Sylvester Stallone, and then he was telling us about the movie, and Tommy said, "Oh, who's in it?" And he goes, "Oh, Dennis Leary and this girl named Sandy." I mean, I don't even think at that point she was like a huge star yet. We're like, okay, cool. Now you have to remember, Dennis had just done a live album called No Cure for Cancer, comedy record, and he kind of took the piss out of Motley. So we went to Dennis's trailer and knocked on his door, and as soon as he opened the door and he saw me and Tommy, we were all pissing ourselves laughing because he went, "God, I hope you guys have a sense of humor." Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we go in, we go in. Tommy and Dennis immediately disappeared. I don't know why. I think there might have been some foul play involved. But I was literally just sitting in this trailer with Sandra, and we were literally flirting with each other and hanging out and, whatever. And then she went to do this scene, and she said to me, "Hey, wait right here. I'll be back." So I'm waiting, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So I start walking back to the trailer, and I go to her trailer and I knock on the door, and this other girl answers, her wardrobe assistant, whatever. And she goes, "Oh no, Sandra just left." So I turn around and I walk back to where I was. And when I went up there, Bobby, our guitar tech, Bobby O, he said, "Hey, crap, that little actress chick was looking for you." And I go, "Where did she go?" He goes, "I don't know, man. I think she left." And I go, "Oh, fuck." Like, I really liked her. And like, there was definitely, for me anyway, there was definitely some chemistry there. And so he goes, "Yeah, she asked me for your phone number." And I said, "Well, did you give it to her?" And he goes, no, man, I didn't want to give it to her unless I asked you first. And I was like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And I was so bummed out because I really liked her, like right when I met her. And, you know, so Bobby wouldn't give her the number. She left, and then she wound up doing Speed right after that movie and became, you know, a global phenomenon. So,
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and there was another thing that blew my mind. What's that?
the one that got away.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one that got away though. The other thing that was, so were you actually there? Is that what happened? You were actually at the Viper Room the night that River Phoenix died?
Yeah, Tommy and I went down, and it's weird because I don't remember all of the details, and I don't even remember who we were there to see. All I remember is Tommy asked me to go with him to the Viper, and we went down in a limo. And he was on the phone. I think he was on the phone with Johnny Depp, and he was like, "Hey, dude, yeah, we're just getting off the freeway. Yeah, we're coming down Sunset Boulevard." And if you've ever been to the Viper Room, there was a door on Sunset Boulevard, and then there was another door on the side street. And they made arrangements for us to pull up right in front of the club on Sunset. They were going to open the door. Security guard was going to open the door, just knock on the door. He was waiting for us. As we got out of the car, we walked in between these two cars, and there was this kid like kind of on the pavement, like passed out. And we literally stepped over him, and we turned around and we looked at the kid, but we couldn't see his face. He was just out. And we were just sitting there, and we go, oh, look at this fucking rookie. You know what I mean? Like, can't handle his alcohol. Look at this fucking rookie. And we went into the club. Again, I couldn't even tell you who was playing, who wasn't playing. Tommy and I just bellied up to the bar. We started drinking. There was this little kind of private room that Johnny had. We were in the room. And then at the end of the night, we went outside. You know, we were bullshitting. He was bullshitting with Johnny, and, you know, we weren't paying attention to anything. And we literally went outside, and Christina Applegate was sitting out front. And as we walked out the door, Tommy kind of looked over to his left, and he saw Christina Applegate crying. So he walked over to her. I didn't know her. So he walked over to her, and he said, "Christina, how are you?" She goes, "Hi." You know, he goes, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Oh, a friend of mine died tonight." And he was like, "Oh, fuck, man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, you know, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah." And somehow they started talking, and she said it was River Phoenix, and he was in the club, and he had gone outside, and he just died. And then it was weird. We got in the car, and we started driving home, and then I looked at Tommy, and I go, "Dude, I think that guy that we stepped over to get into the club, I think that was him." And we went, "Oh shit, fuck, yeah, you're right. I think that was him," because he had longer blonde hair.
Was anyone like helping him at that time, or was he just by himself?
Just outside on the pavement by himself.
Oh shit.
And I don't know if his brother came out with him and then ran back into the club. We just happened to walk out. He was outside on the curb by himself, and we literally stepped over him and walked into the club.
I don't think that part was in the book, that you stepped over him, or maybe I missed it.
No, it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And not to be morbid or whatever, but we were looking at him like, "Oh, look at this fucking rookie, can't handle his blah, blah, blah." We stepped over him, went inside, and did our thing. But and then even when we came out and saw Christina, we didn't put two and two together yet we got in the car, we started driving home, and we were like halfway home, and we were like, oh shit, dude, I think that guy that we stepped over was River Phoenix. And it was like, holy shit, yes, you're right. Fuck. Oh my God, dude. Like, and we were just like, kind of felt bad about it. Like, maybe we could have called 911, or we didn't put two and two together. You know what I mean? We were just
Yeah.
kind of late to the party, and the party was soon over.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow, there's so many things that like kind of I got wrapped up in your book in terms of like things that I wondered. Like one thing I always wondered was why did it take so fucking long to make that Motley Crue 94 record? And you talk about how these guys would take all these mini vacations. Like they would, and you were used to working with the Scream where you guys would do 6 days a week and you had a full-time job. And they would sometimes take a month off when they were recording. I thought it was like they were just working so hard on this album. I didn't know there was all these breaks.
No, that was just, but again, I think I explained in the book, they wanted to take their time
Right.
because their thing, I mean, you got to remember too, we took almost a year before, it was like 7 to 8 months before we even started the record.
Right.
And their theory was, there's that old, thing they talk about singers that most singers have LSD, lead singer disease, and that's all they would talk about with Vince was that he had LSD. He was hard to work with. He, very, in their words, he was selfish. He would, whatever. And so their thing was, we want to take our time. We want to get to know this guy. We want to just really take it slow before we get out there and throw everybody to the wolves and, realize that this singer's got LSD worse than the other guy that we had. So they just wanted to take their time. So there was no rush. There was no sense of urgency doing the record. So the guys would we would like write 3 or 4 songs and, we would do 3 or 4 songs. We demo them up. So we would take that would take like 2.5 weeks. And then everybody would split. Nikki would go to Hawaii with his family. Tommy, I remember one time Tommy went to Turtle Island with Heather Locklear. They went down there. Mick went somewhere, and they just literally kind of, they took their time. There was no sense of urgency. They wanted to make sure they were doing the right thing. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm not used to working like this, especially as a singer. You start singing and your voice starts getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then you take a month off and then you got to start over again and start building that muscle back up.
Right.
I fucking hated it.
Well, yeah, and because I remember as a kid reading about how they said, oh, Vince doesn't want to work on music. He's not working hard enough. He wants to go race cars, and we want to make music. But it sounded, he put his album out first, and he had the Encino Man thing. And so I just thought that was interesting because I was like, oh, if they really wanted to, I think in hindsight, I think it would have helped if you guys put that album out a year earlier. Because I feel like time was like your enemy. Like it was, the longer you waited, the more the grunge really took a stronghold.
And again, I'm not the type of person to sit here because, again, it's shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, sure.
You can't, at this stage of my life, I can't change something that happened 30 years ago. I can't. We just played the cards the way we played them. It was a losing hand, and I moved on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it was a winning thing. I love that album. I love that era. I mean, I love it all, though. I love all the Crue stuff. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, you talk about Horseshoes and Hand Grenades and all these things that you almost made. I'm like, I think you have more accomplishments of things that you did accomplish than things that you almost accomplished.
No, but again, and I don't want anybody to take this weird because yes. I mean, a day doesn't go by that I don't wake up in the morning and go, God, here I am 35, 40 years into the music business, and I'm still making music. I'm doing books. I'm still, touring. I'm going to go to Europe for 2 months at the end of the year. I'm going back to Mexico. I'm doing all this shit. Life is awesome. My thing is, then on the flip side, which I think is kind of normal, everybody obviously, and anybody that says they don't want more is full of shit. Like, and I've kind of sat there and I've looked, and, for an example, if you went to a party and there was 10 people in that party and you walked in and went, oh my God, I'm going to go see Steven Tyler tonight at a club, 9 out of the 10 or all 10 of them would go, oh, fuck, I love Steven Tyler. I'm going to go with you. I've just been this guy that if you went to the same party and said, oh, I'm going to go see John Corabi tonight, I've been this guy that like 6 to 7 of the people would go, why does that name sound familiar? Do you know what I mean? I've just been a guy. I'm okay with it.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, I'm one of those 7 that I would actually prefer to see you over Steven Tyler. I know that's crazy. So, like, I think that's pretty cool. You should be grateful for that.
I get it. And I am grateful for it. I am grateful for the fans that I have. But it's like, I think you always want to do new things. You always want to try new things. You always want to branch out. You want to grow. And I just kind of feel like I've had this bubble of fans, and I'm constantly, I talk to my manager all the time and I go, okay, what could I do that would, expand my bubble a little bit and grow that fan base? How do I let more people know that I've got new music on Spotify and Amazon and, Apple Tunes, and how do I do that? How do I let more people know that I've got a book out? So it's just, as an artist or as a musician, I want to grow. I want to be able to grow. So I'm always thinking of other things that are a little uncomfortable for me. How could I do this? How can I grow? I mean, even one of the things that I said, I did an acoustic record, 7, 8, 10 years ago. And I was telling my manager, I said, the more I go see some of these country guys, I realized how inspired they were by rock music. Some of these newer country guys.
Yeah.
Your Keith Urbans, Chris Stapleton, Eric Church, like all these cats. And I go, just out of curiosity, like, why wouldn't I be able to go out and do an acoustic set opening for one of those guys? It's different. It's not my, and it's like, I'm kind of taking a chance, but why wouldn't I be able to do that? I would think that Father, Mother, Son, there's, some of the songs that I've written, Crash, If I Had a Dime, not Misunderstood. Well, even the acoustic version of Misunderstood or Love Shine, October Morning Wind. I think all of those songs would work in that setting. Why wouldn't I be able to do that? Let's try something new. Let's try something different. So it's just, I'm very grateful for what I have. But again, I would like to be able to supersize my fries,
Sure. Yeah, I hear you. I know you got to get out of here. Last question. If you could tell me real quick, I was talking to Troy Patrick. I know you lived with him. He said to ask you about Fredo the Squirrel. What is Fredo the Squirrel?
Troy and I lived together for a minute, and he had a girlfriend named Susie. And when I was living there was a squirrel. I would sit out on the front step, and the squirrel would literally run up to me and just sit right in front of me while I was eating. Like I'd be eating a bag of chips So I'm like, oh, cool. So I gave it a potato chip. And so it ran away. And then I went into the house and I had a can of like mixed nuts. So I just reached in, grabbed a handful, closed the lid, boom. And I put these nuts out in the driveway for the squirrel. And then it was funny, like one day Susie was at the house and she opened the front door and she like freaked out. And so we come running out and the squirrel was literally on the storm door, like on the screen, literally just spread eagle on the thing, like looking in the window, like, where's those nuts, bitch? We named it Fredo, and it literally came to the house every day, climbed up the storm door, and just hung out on the door until we went out and handed it a handful of nuts, and then it would eat the nuts, and it would go back up into the tree. So wow. It was just weird. So we had a pet squirrel named Fredo.
That's cool. Okay. Well, I know you got to get to the next interview. People should get the book. It's great. You have 2 new singles out, Casa Bella and Your Own Worst Enemy, both great songs. When is the next, is there more music coming, an album or more singles?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of Marty now to mix the next track. And I want to try and get a video together for it and put it out. I've got like right now when I'm done these interviews, I've literally got, probably 3, 4, 5 new songs on deck that I'm literally working on lyrics and singing and recording. I'm kind of recording myself, and then I get them to a certain point and I send them to Marty. So, Marty's got 3 or 4 songs in the can done already. And then I've got like a bunch more on deck that, I want to finish up with him. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that. You'll have to come back and promote that if you want to.
Awesome, buddy.
Okay, thanks, John. See you later.
Thank you, buddy. See you.
Bye-bye. Great stuff from John Corabi. I wish we had more time, but we did cover a lot of ground in our first interview. It's number 121. So check that out if you haven't already. Get his book, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. It's out now. And check out his new singles, Cosa Bella and Your Own Worst Enemy. Great songs. And make sure to follow John or subscribe for updates. I don't think John has a specific charity that he's working with at the moment, but he's previously worked with Toys for Tots. So if you have money left over from buying the book, throw some that way, or whatever your favorite charity is. Speaking of charity, I'll take your pity. If you want to follow me on social media, subscribe to my show, or write me a review or rating, I'd appreciate your support. Have a great day and shoot for the moon.